Hello and welcome to Tech Twin, the Israel and Dubai podcast. With us today is Daniel Ehrenreich, a leading expert in cybersecurity. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
Of course, absolutely. So, first of all, what brings you to Dubai? What brings you here?
I came here to conduct two workshops on industrial cybersecurity because it is most important that people will learn the topic in order to protect correctly the critical infrastructure in their country and worldwide.
Okay, wow, amazing. And tell us about yourself. How did you get into this field? How did you start?
Actually, I am young with 45 years of overall engineering experience. I have it in about 35 years in the area of industrial control systems. Wow. And since the Stuxnet happened in May 2010, I switched my activity to industrial cybersecurity because I realized that cybersecurity will have a major impact on business operation continuity and safety of industrial plants. So that's my activity now. I do consulting. I teach people in the academy, in companies, and wherever possible to spread the knowledge of this very interesting profession. I have my own conference in Israel organized by People and Computers. It happens once a year since 2016. It's the well-focused, although small but well-focused conference where we bring the leading vendors of industrial cybersecurity solutions. We bring about 300, 400 representative of the industries in Israel, and we have panel of experts, and actually it's the full learning day about the risks, about attacks, and about technologies, and it's very successful. The 10th conference will happen early 2026.
And you were invited to Dubai, right, to bring a lecture on GISEC, which is the leading cybersecurity conference in the Middle East.
Actually, I'm in the second time here. It's like I was here in the 2023 first time, and the organizers decided to invite me again, specifically for conducting educational workshops, because they realized this is my top-level profession, and they realized that there is a big demand in this country for people to learn this profession.
Amazing. Okay, so let's start, from the very beginning, because many of us don't really know anything about cybersecurity. I've learned a bit, to be honest, for the purpose of the podcast, but many of our audience are not big experts. So could you please tell us from the beginning, briefly, what makes industrial cyber different to any other cyber?
So actually, when we speak about cybersecurity, we need to divide the world to two parts. To IT, information technology, cybersecurity, and to the operational technology, industrial control system, cybersecurity. The IT cybersecurity started a long time ago because there is a major financial benefit for the attackers. The industrial cybersecurity formally started in 2010 when the Stuxnet attack happened, because this was the first time when a major attack disrupted operation of a nuclear plant and the entire industry became aware of the major risks. While for the IT operation, we are worried about the confidentiality and the integrity and the availability of the data. When we speak about industrial control system, we are worried about the operation safety, reliability, and the performance of the system. So these are completely two different professions, and organizations will take the right action if they will separately handle cybersecurity for IT and cybersecurity for industrial plants.
You're saying that basically for industrial plants, the threat of cyber threat is real, right? It's something that can affect us, and that if we don't take action, if we don't take the necessary precautions, it could have unimaginable repercussions, basically.
I will bring here a different view because when we check the history, there are not too many cyber attacks or industrial plants.
Okay.
Why? Because there is no financial benefit for the attacker, like ransomware. So when we speak about the goal for protecting industrial plants, we need to talk about safety. One safety incident can be very bad. We need to talk about business operation continuity, and we need to talk about the people who know how to react when they see something strange in the industrial plant. So it's a very different profession, and the number of people who deal with IT security are a very large number, while the OT cybersecurity today is a very small profession, very small number of people who deal with that, mainly because there are not many cyber attacks. Those cyber attacks which are affecting industrial plants usually start in the IT area. So my profession is to teach people accurately what they need to do to protect their plants.
So before we talk about what we need to do, what are the biggest challenges that organizations are facing today in terms of cybersecurity?
So when we speak about industrial facilities, we need to understand that there is a broad range of facilities. Facilities like chemical plants or desalination plants where the safety is the most important. There are other facilities where business continuity is the most important. So the challenge of the organization is to understand where are the risks, what are the impacts that can happen if the facility will be under attack. Attack can be internally generated, someone penetrate inside, can be externally generated through the internet, and even through supply chain generated. So the challenge of the operators is to understand the impact and then act accordingly.
And what are the most common threats, especially targeting governments and businesses?
When we look at the history of incidents, the major threat is to harm the business operation continuity. This is the biggest threat. For example, we know about our famous attacks like Colonial Pipeline, where the management decided to shut down supply of gas to the entire east coast of United States.
Wow.
When we can speak about the Stuxnet, where the attack disrupted the operation of a nuclear plant. We can speak about Saudi Aramco, where the attack was about to cause a major explosion in the Saudi Aramco plant. Luckily, it didn't happen because it was discovered few moments ahead of time. So the challenge is to understand what can happen and act accordingly. What actions plants can do? Actually, there is a short list of actions. First of all, the plants must ensure physical perimeter security to protect that the unauthorized person cannot come close to the plant. Second, plant need to organize their communication network, separate the IT operation from the operation, and if a connection is required, it must be done securely and professionally. Then plants need to conduct at least annual vulnerability assessment, because things may change and they need to find out where are the risks. And finally, plants need to educate their people. Actually, I would like to say it very clearly. Education has the highest return on investment that plants can do in order to protect their business operation continuity and safety.
And is education regarding that a growing field?
The education, it's growing slowly, but it's coming already. In Israel, we already have a academy which is introducing a training to students. Obviously, water company, electric company, oil and gas, manufacturing, food and beverage, medical pills, everything is strongly protected because organizations are aware that that even a minor disruption of the operation might cause risk to people, to lives of people, might disrupt the operation continuity, and their customer might lose confidence in the products which they deliver.
So, Israel, I mean, we have an education center, as you said. What makes it so unique? Education regarding cybersecurity, industrial cybersecurity, is not growing rapidly, and there is a need. What makes Israel unique in this field?
I believe that the awareness of people is leading this activity. The Israeli National Cyber Directorate is doing an excellent job to supervise the critical infrastructure organizations. And actually, if we look at all the regulation, whether it's regulation for water, electricity, oil and gas, or manufacturing, and the international standards all have a section that define education on industrial cybersecurity to people as a compulsory action.
Amazing. Okay, so cybersecurity attacks on industrial systems. It sounds like a very complicated thing. Could you walk us through how does it play out? What happens? How do they deal with it? How does the attacker do it?
So, as I mentioned briefly earlier, cyber attacks can happen through internally, someone penetrating to the facility and inserting a USB or a malvertised computer to the network. Mm-hmm. They can start, and this was a Stuxnet attack, happened like this. There is an externally generated attack when an attacker is connecting through the internet, compromise the IT defense and compromise the barrier between the IT and the operation technology, and then he can penetrate. This happened in Ukraine in 2015. Or a supply chain attack. Supply chain attack where a subcontractor is connecting to the network and he is trying to do good things, but he can intentionally cause a damage. So what happens? What's the scenario? In every industrial facility, there is a control room. Operator is sitting in the room. And the first thing that the operator will see that something strange on his screen is happening, something unusually. Obviously, if he's experienced, he knows what to do. If he's less experienced, he may go to panic. And but what is important, that at the first moment he have no idea what happened. It can be a failure of a sensor. It can be an incorrect action of an authorized person, or it can be a cyber attack. So organizations must have a procedure to react correctly in order to assure the operation safety of their facility as priority number one. Mm-hmm. How to achieve that? We are conducting training, and we are also conducting tabletop exercise. Tabletop exercise is known by most companies conduct what happens in the boardroom where is a cyber attack. No, but here we are talking about tabletop exercise in the control room level. Suddenly you see the operator sees something strange. You need to have a well-planned and practiced procedure what to do and the goal is to assure operation safety for people around. That's the goal. And I myself developed a tabletop exercise program, which I'm conducting to facilities in Israel and abroad. And people must take this program and convert it specifically for their facility. Why? That it cannot be a one program fit for all, because every industrial facility, water, electricity, oil and gas, manufacturing, every plant is different. So people must take the principles of the tabletop exercise and with my help, they adapt it specifically for their facility.
So, Daniel, we previously discussed, right, how industrial cybersecurity is rapidly changing and that the threat is evolving. And now there's new technology in the world, AI, artificial intelligence, that has brought technological capabilities to heights we've never seen before. How does AI impact cybersecurity?
So when we speak about AI, we cannot say AI one good for everything, because we have AI, which is very interesting. You can take a standard document, analyze it, and in 3 pages you will see the summary.
Yeah.
Okay. You can ask what are the typical attacks, and it will give you a typical attack. So this is one area. When we speak about the actual operating systems, industrial control systems, we start to realize that the integration of AI into the operation of security operation center, integration to the human-machine interface will help to protect the organization with better tools, and it can be translated to faster detection of incidents and the stronger defense. However, we must not forget this is positive. We are better protected. However, we must not forget that the attackers also learn about AI.
They can also use it.
And they learn which is the most effective way to attack the cybersecurity attack the organization. So on one hand, we have a better defense. On the other hand, the AI is helping attackers to be more creative and cause damage. Even when we had the power outage in Spain and Portugal, no one say until now if it was a cyber attack, it was a normal outage, it was a total collapse of the system. However, all agree that if AI tools were already integrated into the emergency management system, this long outage, which lasted over 15 up to 20 hours, could be significantly shortened, and it already generates benefit. So we will see AI from multiple directions, and we need to take advantage of that technology, and we need to constantly learn the attackers how they can attack our organization. And there are already tools like the Mitre ATT, which is defining a complete attack process. And if we integrate AI into the Mitre process, we will be better protected.
So integrating AI into the process can better protect us. As you said, it could also increase the capabilities of the attacker. So how exactly can the companies take advantage of AI? What precautions do they need to take in order to be better protected?
So I want to say here something very interesting. When we speak about industrial control systems, the majority of the installed systems worldwide are legacy systems.
So very old.
Very old. Don't be surprised. 10 years is young. 20, 30, even 40 years old systems. And these systems are working, and these systems for some reasons are not being upgraded. Now with the AI, people say, "Wow, we are happy that we have this old system because the attackers really cannot manipulate it so easily, like the modern systems which are internet and internet-based communication, which are easier to attack." So every organization must review its systems. And again, as I mentioned, we need to constantly run vulnerability assessment, and we need to run business impact analysis. And only if we do these two processes, we can learn how to protect our organization, people, processes, technologies. There are different ways, but we need to do it smartly, not just throw money to buying another box, buying another software. No, we need to understand the impact, and we need to act accordingly. So we need to bring knowledge. And this brings us back to the need to educate the people. What is all about industrial cybersecurity? How industrial cybersecurity is different from IT cybersecurity? If we do that, we will be in a significantly better situation.
And does that apply also to small businesses? I mean, I believe that not all businesses have the resources, right?
Yes, you touched a very important question. Actually, the sad topic, because the small to medium organizations do not have the budget to employ professional experts, and they need to rely on external experts, which on one hand help them, on the other hand, the supply chain generate new risks. But we need to remember that the smaller organizations are less attractive to attackers.
Okay.
So it's the multidimensional consideration, and every organization. Basically, I want to say something very clearly. We don't need to talk about what is the risk, because risk is very difficult to calculate and assume. We need to think about the impact. We need to think about the consequences. What will happen tomorrow morning if type A, B, or C type of incident will happen to the organization? When we know what will happen, we can estimate the business risk. We can estimate the risk to our customers who are buying our electricity, water, or oil and gas. We can estimate the impact to the nation. What will happen? Obviously, if there is a power outage, the entire life in the nation, like what happened in Spain and Portugal, will almost collapse. So this is, and we talk about consequences. And today, even people who are teaching a disaster response, how to deal with disasters, are teaching people, don't think about this. Think about consequences and impacts. What can happen to your organization, because this will allow you to build a comprehensive program that you can get the budget for that, and you can deploy that program.
Amazing. And Daniel, you as an expert, where do you see the cybersecurity field, especially industrial cybersecurity, where do you see it heading in the next 5 years?
Actually, we will see that because of attackers discovered this field as a beautiful financial business. Attackers discovered this field as a great way to harm a life of people in the country, these organizations, whether it's the crime organization, whether it's the hostile country, they invest in learning creative ways how to harm the operation of the organizations, how to disrupt the life of people in the country. So we will see that this trend will continue. What can organization do? I'm just repeating what I said earlier. Look at your organization. Look at the impact. Look at the consequences. And conduct the vulnerability assessment. Conduct the assessment of what can happen to the country, to your customers and to life of people, and act accordingly. So budgeting cybersecurity today is part of the organization expense, and we need to pray that it will stay not at the measure at the acceptable levels, and we will not be required to spend more money that might harm our business activity. So it will be an interesting period. The more organization invest in teaching their people, teaching their employees, and bring the awareness, they will be better. I want to say, Barik, to summarize this, I want to say that over 99% of the cyber attacks happened worldwide because someone didn't know how to react at the moment when the incident started.
So you're saying it's a very valuable find?
Yes, and only people only organization who will educate their people, they will be in a good position to reduce the impact, reduce the consequences, reduce the damages, so their organization can continue to operate.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel, an expert in cybersecurity. Daniel Ehrenreich, idlak Jaisak today. I've enjoyed this conversation. It was very enriching. I hope you too, all our audience. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you very much for having me here. And please continue to read articles, listen to podcasts, educate yourself, and all will be fine.
Of course. Thank you.